Today I'm going to be doing a breakdown on the most important must-win Senate seats in the 2022 midterms for Republicans, which states they need to be focusing their energy on, putting their money into, and spending time campaigning in. I'm going to break down why each state is important, how we can focus more on that, and which states we should not be wasting our time on. But before I start, I just want to ask, if you are new, please consider subscribing and leaving a like on the video. Comment, let me know what you think about this video, or if there's any other types of content you'd like to see me create in the future. Now, getting into this, I'm going to start. I have them listed, the 5 most important states that Republicans need to win. These are the most competitive races in the Senate, the most likely, probably between the two, that either party could win. These will determine who wins the Senate. Now, Democrats have a lot more to overcome if they want to take the Senate. They have much more than the Republicans. Despite some polling trends that kind of seem to make it look like Republicans won't get it, they're still ahead. They will win it, and I can show at least why we'll get even a slight majority, even if not the most. So, we'll start with New Hampshire. This one is probably the least likely in my opinion, but there have been some decent polls that show Republicans fairly close, both Bolduc and Morse, both close. The primary hasn't happened there yet. It's really the only even somewhat notable primary left before the midterms, but it will be down between Bolduc and Morse. And either way, both of them are polling fairly similarly. Now, I like Bolduc better. They are the two candidates that will most likely be the ones to run against Maggie Hassan. So most polling shows there is a chance for them to win. Now, I don't think this one is one Republicans will be able to take. I think Democrats take this one in a tilt margin. It will be close, but with the current polling, I don't think Republicans are close enough, and New Hampshire being not a very conservative state, it's a toss-up swing state, but at the same time, very socially liberal. So conservative candidates don't always do amazing. They get close, but they don't really win. It could be a state that we could win in the future, but right now I do think Democrats hold it. Now, I do think there is a possibility Republicans get it, and if we put more energy into this campaign, there is a chance we could win it. Now, do I think we should be putting all our energy into that campaign compared to the other 4 on this map, which I'd argue are generally more important ones? No, but it is better than putting $28 million into Ohio, which is more than likely going to be a safe Republican win for J.D. Vance, probably by 10-something points. Most polls underestimate Republicans in Ohio, and the state is shifting and trending very, very far to the right. It was an 8-point margin in 2020, despite a weird 2020 national environment, and DeWine is polling vastly further ahead of the Democrat candidate. It's just very unlikely that J.D. Vance doesn't win, and he's a very good candidate. So the funding that we've been putting into a race like that, which we are more than likely to win, is illogical. We should be putting that to more important races. We have Pennsylvania. This one is arguably the closest one that Republicans should be trying to win. This one between Oz and Fetterman. Fetterman, a socialist, Oz, a questionable but better candidate than Fetterman. Despite his issues, I did a video recently on why he will win. He does have low approval amongst Republicans, which is why I think he polls so low right now, and why even when we get to the election, those voters, those Republican voters who are not really saying they'll support him, they will eventually break for him when the election comes closer, because they won't vote for Fetterman, who is a literal socialist. Yes, he's not amazing, but we kind of have to hold our breath and vote for him. And then in 6 years, when his term is up, which Pennsylvania is known to do, primary him, replace him with a better candidate, a better Republican, a true conservative, someone who is less questionable. But despite polling, I've already broken down why I think Pennsylvania is going to go for Oz over Fetterman, and I do think it will be in a tilt margin. That is one of the most important states. If we put our energy there and Oz keeps ramping up the campaign, which he seems to be doing right now, he's putting more energy into it, which is good. We need that more. I do think Pennsylvania will be a flip for a hold for Republicans, and it is one of the most important states that we win. And that leaves the path to a majority for Republicans down to 3 states. one of which is actually quite likely, I would say, and two of which are fairly likely as well. Now, Democrats, I would rather Republicans could get an even larger margin. I don't know if they will, and I doubt they do, but at the very least, they will get the majority. Polling shows, especially in Nevada, if Republicans can win simply Pennsylvania, Nevada, or Georgia, Nevada, or Arizona, Nevada, we have the majority. And Nevada, I'd say, of these four states, is actually the most likely to flip, other than maybe Arizona. I think with the polling trends we've seen recently, especially the most recent Trafalgar poll, Nevada is fast trending to the right. It's becoming a Republican state, even with the higher Latino population, which is also trending to the right. That bodes well for Republicans. And the state itself also has a high level of independents, which currently are breaking for Republicans by a 10-point margin, which will be a very big deciding factor. Now, we have to also consider the candidates running in Nevada are not very good. Cortez Masto is not a good candidate. She's very unlikable, and she is very unlikely to win. And I do think Adam Laxalt is a very good candidate, and he will likely win the election, especially, again, if Republicans put energy and focus and money into important races like Nevada. We need to stop spending so much money on these less important races, which we know we're going to win. This is just bad political strategy by the Republican Party, and we see this time and time again. This is something Republicans do. They manage to fumble the most important things they should not be messing up, and yet they do it because it's the Republican Party. It's there for them to lose, and they're just running with it. We can't let that happen. And another way to make sure this doesn't happen, we need to get out and vote. You get out and vote, you bring your friends, you bring as many people as you can, you volunteer, you make sure that a Republican win is ensured. We need to take the Democrats out of the Congress, both Senate and House, and as well governorships would be nice for those who live in each individual state. But the point still leads. Nevada is going to go, I'd say even in a lean margin for Republicans. I think Laxalt wins it in a lean margin, probably by 2 points, maybe even 3. I could even see more if he can really ramp up the campaign and the Republican Party works on its messaging better and focuses on more winning issues like border security and family matters, family rights, family protection, that kind of stuff, less on, oh, my tax cuts this, my tax cuts that. And then moving on, we also have Arizona. This one, it's a very important race as well, and I think this one's also one of the more likely ones to happen. It will be between Blake Masters and Mark Kelly. Now, Blake Masters is a terrific candidate. Mark Kelly is a fake moderate. I've said this before. He's a fake moderate. He acts and kind of plays as if he's that, oh, well, I'm not a far left radical. I don't do this. I don't vote for that. And then his rhetoric doesn't follow his actual voting. He votes almost completely in line with everything Biden's done recently, which is just pushed further and further to the left as time's gone on. And it's not helping this country, and it's putting us into a deeper and deeper recession, which is why it's not going to help despite his fake moderate outlook. As a result, Blake Masters, who is also a terrific candidate, and we saw that in the debate, much better than Mark Kelly, will win it, and I do think in a lean margin as well. Now, the last state here is Georgia. Georgia is probably the least, it's not the least likely, but it's not a very likely state. It is shifting to the left. Soon it will be a Democrat state, which is an unfortunate trend. It was a great state, but the Atlanta suburbs themselves are just too far to the left. But that does not mean at this moment Herschel Walker, the candidate running against Warnock, who barely even won against Loeffler, who is a very questionable candidate as it is. Walker, he's likely to win it. I do think he's likely to win it. He's not a terrific candidate. He's not my favorite. But he is a good candidate, and he's much better than Raphael Warnock, who is supposedly Christian, yet supports murdering children. That doesn't look very good, and it doesn't reflect well on you. Now, that being said, this is a state that, again, Republicans need to be putting more of their money and focus on. You need to be campaigning. You need to be running ads in this state, not Ohio. I know I'm really hammering that point home about Ohio, but it's an important point to make. If we want to win and we want to take back the Senate as well as Congress, We can't keep doing this stupid losing strategy over and over again. Georgia needs to be a state we focus and put money into. And if we do that, which I do think we will, Republicans will win Georgia. Herschel Walker will win it in a tilt margin, probably by 1 or 2 points. Kemp's obviously going to win the governorship there, probably around 8 points. And that being said, I don't think there's enough Brian Kemp voters who are going to end up switching to vote for Warnock. So realistically, these 4 states will go Republican. New Hampshire, I could see potentially flipping. I might actually give it to them. I think if Bolduc is the one who's nominated, if he's the one who wins the nomination, he wins his primary, he will, assuming we campaign well and we focus on this race as well, not as important, obviously, as these 4 races, but still an important race, we can increase our lead in the Senate, take back the Senate, and increase the lead. If we want to win, we need to do this. This is how you win elections. You focus on the important races and you put the money and effort into the ones that matter, not wasting it on already won cases or cases that are just not nearly as important. Anyways, that's my breakdown on the 5 or 4 must-win Senate seats for Republicans if we want to take back the Senate, how we can win them, what we need to be doing, and what states we should be focusing on instead of how we've been looking at it and what the Republican establishment has been doing up until now. This is a win for Republicans if it's something they will take. If they put the effort in and they focus on it, we have it. Anyways, if you guys liked that video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the video. If you agree with my assessment and my breakdown of these states, if you think Republicans can and will take back the Senate, and how big of a Senate majority they could get, assuming they put the focus into the race. Anyways, that's all for now. Hope you guys have a good night.